So Colombia has some of the best food that I've ever had in my life. Before my mission, they kept telling me, hey, on your mission, you're going to have rice and beans every day. And I was kind of dreading it because I was thinking, man, rice and beans, that just doesn't sound great. But I didn't realize that I was used to American rice and American beans, and there is a complete difference from the rice and beans we have here than what they have there. And let me just tell you that the Colombian rice is amazing. It is delicious. It is not just plain white rice that we make in a rice cooker here in America. It is amazing. In Colombia, how they cook it is they first they turn on the stove and the pot, and then they pour in some oil, and they start to brown the rice first without adding any water. Then they chop up some onions, they chop up some garlic, they put it in, and they brown all that up with the oil. And then once that's all kind of brown, then they add some water, and then they just let it sit. And so it cooks. And it's interesting because in America, I feel that when we cook rice, sometimes we stir it and we kind of get it all, it just seems kind of mushy and kind of flavorless and without salt or anything. But in Colombia, they do all that. They add the salt, they add chopped onion and chopped garlic, and then they just let it sit. And it's interesting because it cooks beautifully and it tastes amazing, but not stirring the rice, there's advantages and disadvantages. The advantages is that the rice doesn't get broken up into little pieces. You still get full grains of rice, and it's delicious. But the disadvantage is that when they just let it cook in a pot, the bottoms and the edges of the pot get like the hard black kind of crispier rice. And so you have to really clean your pots well after you cook rice, but it's totally worth it. And I'm never going to stir rice again just because having those full grains of rice is beautiful and it's delicious. So the rice in Colombia, it's amazing. But aside from that, they also have these, Colombia is known for their arepas. And this is, I guess the only thing I can compare it to is like a pancake. But instead of being made out of flour, it's made out of corn. So they get this little pancake-looking thing, and sometimes they'll fry it on the stove, and then they'll cut it open, and they'll fill it with cheese, they'll fill it with meat, and then they'll put this nice little sauce over it that's just amazing. And they'll sell these on the streets for less than $1. And I guess you could say that it's, they have it for dinner all the time, and that you can buy it in the street, so it's even not fast food, but it's amazing and delicious. It doesn't taste like a pancake. I know you're thinking like a pancake filled with cheese. That may be kind of weird, but it's nothing like that. But it's amazingly delicious. They also have empanadas, which are pretty common in the Latin culture, but these empanadas in Colombia, they're filled with rice and chicken or rice and beef, and they are to die for, and I could pay a lot of money to have one of those right now because they're so good. They also have these things called bunuelos, and the best way to describe it is they get some dough and they mix the dough. It's about half dough and half shredded cheese, and they make these little balls of it, and then they fry these balls in oil, and then once they're fried, they take them out and you eat it, and it's just this. I mean, I guess it could taste kind of like mozzarella sticks, but in a ball, and not, the dough and the cheese is all mixed together. So I don't know how else to explain it, but it is amazing, and I love it so much. But the typical food other than that in Colombia is they just have lots of soup. There are two most famous soups that I love the most. One of them is called ajiaco, and that has chicken, and they put sweetened condensed milk in it. And it's to die for. They put potatoes in it. And another one is called sancocho, and they usually make that with hen and with potatoes and other vegetables, and it's super delicious. So Colombian food it's amazing. It's so delicious. I would say one of the best things about Colombian food is the bakeries. When you are walking down the street, it seems that every other block or so, there's a bakery where they just deliver fresh bread at any moment throughout the day, and you can buy just a little roll, or you can buy loaves, or you can buy however much you want. And they have so many different unique types of bread. Some of it is sweet, some of it is salty. My favorite kind of bread, was really interesting. It's a bread that they fill it with cheese and with this thing called arequipe, which I guess is also known as it's like a caramel kind of sauce thing, but it's bread filled with cheese and caramel. And it sounds kind of like a weird combination, but it's amazing. It's delicious. Another weird thing that they do in Colombia that may sound weird, but it actually tastes really good, is they put cubes of cheese in their hot chocolate. And, that may sound weird to us as Americans, but let me just kind of explain. In Colombia, their cheese isn't very flavored. It's not as salty and not as flavorful as the cheese here in America. So what they do is when they add the cheese to the hot chocolate, you first drink it, and then you have the cube of cheese left over. And it's kind of weird, but the hot chocolate kind of puts flavor into the cheese. Not chocolatey flavor, but cheese flavor. And so it just gives the cheese more flavor. And it's delicious, and it's amazing, and I love it.